So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. So guys, Josh Taylor has made a comment. Josh Taylor has basically said that Manny Pacquiao should retire because I would have beaten him too. It's not the same Manny Pacquiao. Obviously, we know Josh Taylor always wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao. He views Manny Pacquiao as his idol, and he wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao. Because he looked at him as his idol, and he said he hoped that he could share the ring with him one day. But he basically said that Manny Pacquiao looked old and he should retire, and he would beat him as well. Firstly, I think Josh Taylor's probably come out and said a few things because Freddie Roach apparently said, who's Josh Taylor? And I don't think Josh Taylor really liked that, the fact that Freddie Roach said, who's Josh Taylor? And I think Freddie Roach didn't mean it in any disrespect. I think at the time he probably, he probably didn't know who he was talking about. I don't think it was anything to do with disrespect. But Josh Taylor seems like a guy that gets wired up. If you say anything about him, he bites back. Andre Ward said something about him a while back, and he bit back at Andre Ward. So he's the type of guy, if you say anything about him, he likes to bite back. He's a bit like Crawford. Crawford's a bit like that. There's a lot of fighters that, you could say things about them, they won't really care, they won't really respond. But he seems a bit of a feisty character, where he'll respond to everything you say, he'll bite back at you. If you say something about him that he doesn't like, fair enough. If he wants to have I just don't know why he's having a go at Freddie Roach. I don't think Freddie Roach meant it in any disrespect. But getting on to what Josh Taylor said, I don't really agree with Josh Taylor, to be honest with you. I think people are getting carried away by that performance and think Pacquiao's finished. Ugas is massive. Like, if Ugas fought Josh Taylor, that would be a horrible fight for Josh Taylor. I don't know whether Josh Taylor could beat Ugas. Ugas would be a horrible matchup for Josh Taylor. So what I'm saying is, Manny Pacquiao's fought somebody who's a very, very good fighter on very short notice. And personally, I don't think Manny Pacquiao's had to fight anybody like that in his whole career. That was very mobile, that was as big as that. Like, Manny Pacquiao hasn't fought anybody as big and as mobile as Ugas in his career. If you look at Margarita and all the big guys that he fought, they were all static. Like, big guy, when I mean big guy, like, Ugas was one of the biggest guys he's fought, like, size-wise, height-wise. Like, he was defo Margarita. This guy could be, like, a light middleweight easy. He's got a frame of a middleweight, this guy. He's huge. Dennis Ugas, massive guy. I couldn't believe the size of him. So Ugas is no joke, and he's a good boxer on top of that. Some people are getting a bit carried away with the fact that, Manny got outboxed, in that fight. And by the way, it wasn't like it was one-sided. Manny had his moments in that fight. So would Josh Taylor also have a field day with, or I wouldn't say, because Ugas didn't have a field day, but would Josh Taylor beat him like he thinks? No, I don't agree with that at all. I had some, one of my, as I was watching my video, said, I think it was Alan McDonald, I think he's obviously a Josh Taylor fan, said that, of course, Josh would beat Manny Pacquiao. He'd destroy Pacquiao at this point. Yeah, what we basing that off? What, a guy that was able to win a few more rounds than Manny Pacquiao? A guy that's way bigger than Josh Taylor. Look at the size of Ugas. Look at his size, and he's very mobile. Josh doesn't fight like that. Josh ain't mobile like that. Josh likes to have a scrap. The red mist descends and he likes to have a scrap. His fighting style would suit Manny Pacquiao to the T. Josh Taylor's style would suit Manny Pacquiao. Josh Taylor ain't knocking Manny Pacquiao out, that's for sure. Manny Pacquiao's got a granite chin. He showed that in the Ugas fight. To be fair, he showed that in the Thurman fight. 2 years prior to that, he showed that. And a lot of people seem to think Manny's diminished massively since then. No, he hasn't. The style was all wrong. Ugas fought a very smart fight. You know, very few fighters can fight like that, very disciplined and using their size, their height, their reach to their advantage. Very few fighters can fight like that. They can keep it disciplined. And if someone like Josh Taylor was to fight Manny, he would have to, because trust me, Josh Taylor's never been in the ring with anyone with a kind of power. Even at this point, Manny's still got power. You know, Ugas just fought a very smart fight. And Ugas, let's not forget, is massive. He's massive. Taylor's not as big as Ugas. I'm not talking about height. I'm talking about size. The size of Ugas. Look at the size of that dude. You think Taylor would have a field day with Ugas? Of course he wouldn't. To be honest, I don't know who I'd pick. To be honest, that would be Taylor's hardest fight by a country mile. You know, Prograis not as good as Ugas. Ugas is a Cuban slick, but he's a really good fighter. You know, see, people look at 4 losses on his record and they think that, oh, that's the be. He's had robberies. He's had decisions that should have gone in his favor that went against him because he wasn't the politically connected fighter. He beat Sean Porter and he didn't get the decision. Everyone that watched that fight knew that, you know, Ugas deserved that decision. So I think people are getting a little carried away with the fact that they think that Manny's completely past his best and he's not. I can assure you, Manny Pacquiao's still dangerous for someone like Josh Taylor. Because I've said this and I'll say this again, the 140-pound division is very weak. Those guys won't live in the welterweight division. They won't live in the welterweight division. You know, Virgil Ortiz would knock out every 140-pounder. He would obliterate every 140-pounder. He's a prospect. I'm not even talking about Spence and Crawford. He would obliterate every 140-pounder. Ortiz would obliterate Ramirez. Ortiz would beat Victor Postal. Ortiz would beat everyone. And he'd even beat Taylor. And he's a prospect. If you were to ask me who would I pick, I'd pick Ortiz. This is what I'm saying. But if you put Pacquiao in there with Ortiz, would you be confident? You see, what I'm saying is that people are going off that Ugas fight and they don't realize styles make fights. Ugas fought a very smart fight. I even believe Ugas in Manny's prime may have been... I'm not saying he would have won the fight, but even in Manny's prime, stylistically, Ugas would have been a difficult fight. Because, like I said, who has Manny fought that big with that good movement? He outboxed Manny Pacquiao. He was making Manny miss and outlanding. He was using his size, using his height, using his reach to his advantage. I don't think some of you are really observing that Manny Pacquiao hasn't fought anybody as big and as mobile as Dennis Ugas. He's a Cuban. They naturally know how to box. They're very good boxers naturally. You know, they come through a Cuban system. They're very good boxers. Like I said, don't get blinded by the fact that he's lost 4 times, Ugas. Like I said, I think 3 of them were split decisions. All fights that I believe he should have gone his way. So don't get blinded by that. You know, Ugas isn't a big power puncher. You know, he's more of a slick boxer. But like I said, Taylor has a completely different style. Taylor likes to mix it up. He can box as well, but Taylor likes to mix it up. His defense isn't the greatest. He gets caught a lot. Look at his in the Ramirez fight, he got caught a lot. He had a swollen eye. In the Prograis fight, his eye was completely shut. Even in the Prograis fight, he had marks. This is on his face. You know, this is a guy that gets caught a lot. Against Pacquiao, especially remember, Taylor's a 140-pounder. Pacquiao has been fighting at 147, and these guys at welterweight are no joke. These top boys at welterweight are no joke. They're way, way better levels above the guys at 140 pounds. The 140 pounders won't be able to live even with the prospect. Like, I would favor Jaron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz to clean up, to beat any 140 pounder. And they're prospects, as I'm saying. Forget about the top guns that we call the top guns. I'm talking about the 2 guys like that would be I don't see any 140 pound beating them. The levels between the 140 pound division and the 147 pound division is massive. There's levels between it. And like I said, Ugas for me is a top dog in the welterweight division. He may not have the name recognition as some of the others, your Thurmans, your Porters, your Danny Garcias, your Manny Pacquiaos, your Errol Spence. He hasn't got the name recognition, but he's amongst them. And he would cause Errol Spence trouble. He could cause Crawford trouble. I'm not saying he wins those fights, but he could cause them trouble. And I would pick him to beat Danny. I would pick him to beat some of the other welterweights. Yeah. He's already beat Sean Porter in my eyes. So what I'm trying to point out is I don't really agree with Josh Taylor, to be honest, because I think Manny Pacquiao, even at this age right now, and what I saw of him, I still think he would be a problem for Josh Taylor. It may be a good fight. It may be a competitive fight because of the stage Manny's at, but I don't think it's a case where, Josh Taylor's just going to be able to do what Ugas did. He's a completely different style. He's not, like I said, as big as Ugas, and he doesn't box like Ugas. Josh Taylor likes to mix it up. I've never seen Josh Taylor, look at all his fights. Baranchik, he got caught so many times in that fight, He got caught so many times in the Postal fight. He got caught in the Ramirez fight so many times. He got caught by Prograis so many times. These are fighters are nowhere near the level. Even at 42, Manny Pacquiao's better than him. He beat Thurman 2 years ago. And even now, he lost to a guy. You see, a lot of people jump to conclusions too quickly. Oh, he shot. No. He fought a quality welterweight that may have beaten him a couple of years back. Ugas is a really, really good fighter. Really good fighter. Just because somebody doesn't have a name recognition and you don't know who they are, that doesn't mean they're not good. Believe me, Ugas is really good. There's a reason why he's been avoided. But that's just my take on it, guys. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.